Hi, my name is Andy. This is the Outlet Unplugged presents 10 Questions. I'm here with cellist and singer Brian Kidd. He is scheduled to play an Emmaus Snow Blast event at King Coffee Friday, February 2nd. Show starts at 8 p.m. We're so glad you could come by.
Good to be here.
Yeah. For you, what is the driving force behind you that makes you write music?
Well, certainly my emotions. My emotions are, all of our emotions drive a lot of things, but yeah, sometimes it's the best form of therapy, self-therapy, if you will. You can think about, get your thoughts out. You can kind of, if you write a song, you have a structure of a song, you kind of mesh your right and your left brain together, and you can make something that people can enjoy. Sounds good. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good. What are some of the main themes in your music?
Well, definitely, I would say a lot of my old music, the driving theme was being an individual and being yourself. And being true to yourself and not listening to those around you. Which is amazing because at that time in my life, I really didn't think for myself much. I really did listen to a lot of those around me. So, but it's good looking back. I always knew that I wanted to think for myself. So,
yeah. So
that was the recurring theme, and of course, I have the usual cookie cutter love song here and there.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Can you describe your sound? And is it still evolving, or are you happy with it?
Well, I play electric cello and I play regular guitar. I've been in rock bands and stuff throughout the years, but right now, you could just say, I just play the cello and I sing at the same time. So if you will, I can't think of an artist off the top of my head that just plays like a stringed instrument and sings, but just general regular singer songwriter stuff when I'm playing my guitar, like Jack Johnson-ish type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the cello, it's just a cello and me singing on top of it. I apologize, I can't really describe it better than that.
No, that's a very great description, actually. So also, how did you get into music? So,
I remember when I was really little, I used to make wrap rubber bands around shoe boxes and things, and I used to pluck the banister, and it would be like a doom doom doom. And I was like, wow, that's so weird. It's like a stringed instrument made out of wood. And I would make these little shoebox guitars, and then I saw Yo-Yo Ma, the really famous cellist on Mr. Rogers, when I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7. But I didn't realize that instrument spoke to me at that point. And then it was introduced to me in 3rd grade when I was 9, and I had an opportunity, so I went home and I asked my parents to play it, and thankfully to them, they allowed me to play it, and I've been with it ever since.
Good. How did you, did you start on the cello or the guitar, or what was your first instrument?
I started on the cello when I was 9, and I never ever saw myself playing the guitar. It was kind of weird. I always thought that guitar players were like those guys that smoked a lot of cigarettes in rock bands. Never mind, I would end up in a rock band smoking cigarettes down the road at some point myself. It's so funny how life happens like that. But yeah, I started on the cello when I was 9, and then I switched over to the guitar when I was 14 or 15. My dad bought me a guitar. I feel like he wanted me to play more than I did at that point.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny, because then by the time I graduated high school, I wanted to play more than my parents wanted me to play the guitar. It was funny.
This sounds like me with my son. He plays drums, and I'm really proud of him for it. And
nice.
I always try to keep not push him, but try to keep it known that it's a good thing for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What benefits do you find to playing solo rather than playing with a group?
Wow. Well. So I really never played solo up until about a year ago, maybe like a year and a half. My first solo show ever was September 30th, 2016, and just played at my local bar in Emmaus on a Friday night for happy hour, and it went pretty well. One benefit is I don't have to get the approval of the rest of the guys in my band. We had so much drama over deciding on what songs to play.
Yeah.
I wanted to play hits because everyone knows hits, but a lot of the guys in the band with me, wanted to play B-sides and obscure songs, and my thing with that was always like, well, if you want to play an obscure song, we might as well just write our own original song because they'll know it just as well. But yeah, and less equipment to carry around. I don't have to coordinate schedules. Just the general efficiencies of being by yourself versus coordinating with other people. So, and I make a lot more money playing by myself than I ever did in a rock band. I'll tell you that.
And you said that you talked about setting up in your equipment and you know, bringing your stuff in here and setting up in our second floor apartment. It didn't take long at all.
Absolutely, that's funny. I was actually gonna say that too. Yeah. It's again with logistics.
Within like 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, you were already
absolutely
ready to go.
Logistically, I can fit in like small spaces. I can play.
Yeah.
I have an upcoming gig actually at a jewelry store.
Nice.
So I mean, rock band would never play in a jewelry store. So
yeah, I mean, we couldn't have a full. I mean, obviously a full band in here, you know, but yet we can have you play, you know, and sound just as great.
Well, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's great. I love being able to.
It was a pleasure to see you play, and I can't wait to see those videos online. So.
Sweet, man,
Put 'em
definitely.
up, yeah. Do you ever miss playing in a group?
I do. I miss like jumping around and rocking out. Like we used to play. Our favorite place to play was the Fun House in Bethlehem.
Nice.
In this local area, the Lehigh Valley, everyone knows the Fun House. You can still smoke cigarettes and cigars in there.
Holy crap!
It's smaller than your living room, basically.
Wow.
But it's so fun. Hence the name, of course. But like, if you put like 15 people in there, it looks like you're playing to a packed house. It's great.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun, you know, being loud and jumping around. Like, it's funny because even when I was like in my early 20s, I still did not like standing next to a drum set. I never turned my music up loud. I love rock music, but I don't like blasting rock music. Maybe I'm just like that. But yeah, I do miss it. I just don't miss the drama, you know. And
I can understand that.
Everyone has faults and everyone has strong points, of course. But you know, when you're working with other people, and especially creating, if you will, art and writing music,
yes,
you're gonna have you add that creative aspect. The right brain, as we know, the right brain is not logical. So the emotions fly, and egos fly when you're writing music with a band. So we had great times, and we had some not so great times, but overall, it was a good experience when I had my band White Oleander. So
I was in a few bands myself, and I can totally agree with you about the drama. Like we had a jam spot in Allentown, and man, like we just thought it was gonna be the best thing, and you know, we started playing, and then egos got involved. People were like, "I'm not doing this. I can't," you know, and it just fell apart. And I was like, "Man, what about the music? Like, you got it. Like, that's what we're doing this for." So I can totally understand what you're saying about about that.
well, yeah, if I could just add also. It's all another great thing about playing by myself is I can do it as a second job basically.
Yeah.
And like, but it's something I love. It's not like I'm like, you know, washing dishes or doing something that's totally doesn't require a skill set or anything. Not there's anything wrong with what we need. We need people to wash the dishes and do those kinds of jobs and stuff. But it's great to be able to do art and you know make a little bit of money on the side as well.
Oh, of course, yeah. So, what are your goals as a solo performer at this time?
Well, my goals as a solo performer really are just to entertain whoever is willing to listen, whoever's in the room. I'm not there to be a rock star. I'm just, if I set up in the corner of a bar, that's cool. If no one claps, that's totally cool too. You know, people throw tips in the jar, that's awesome. But it's a little bit less pressure than like being a front man in a rock band and having to engage the audience. And that awkward feeling, I'm sure you've been in bands, so that awkward feeling you get when either they don't care or they don't want you there, but you're still playing your. I mean, hey, I'm still singing my songs, like I'm still standing right in front of you, looking at you. But it's like there's never that awkward feeling when I'm playing by myself because I'm usually not in the front of the place. It's great.
I remember the first show that I played. It was in Philadelphia. It was a Halloween party. It was a huge party, and we were on the stage playing, and everybody's just doing their thing. And I'm basically turning to my friend who was playing guitar. I'm like, "Yo," I was like, "We're just playing for ourselves because there's nobody listening to us."
It's
so
weird.
I can totally, yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. You have when you're in a band, in a rock band. It's probably we see rock bands on TV and we have this cultural idea of being a rock star and stuff when you're a musician playing guitar. But it's like, and then you get on a stage or you get in front of people and it's like, oh man, it's not happening. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a time and place for everything, I think.
Yeah. I would agree with that. What has been your favorite past performance?
Oh, well, I have a couple. So, my most memorable past performance was actually the same way I played just before, just my cello and me singing. I played Basket Case by Green Day, and then I played She by Green Day. If you're a Green Day fan, you know what song She is. But if you're not, you've heard Basket Case. It's on the radio all the time. I played for this fine arts festival at Central Catholic High School when I was a freshman.
Yeah.
It was like 2000, I think, yeah, it was 2002. It was like probably February or March 2002. And there's regular stuff like, some guys playing guitar, a teacher played Stairway to Heaven, and then a student sang it. It was really good. It was a good performance.
Wow.
And a lot of talent and stuff. It's stuff that you kind of expect, like guitar, guys singing. And then I brought my cello out. And since it was a fine arts festival, I'm sure they thought I was going to play Bach or play some classical music, which I do play classical music. I love classical music. Actually, I love Antonio Vivaldi, the Baroque composer. I listen to that all the That's actually my favorite style of music. So I can, and I do play classical music, but I just sat down, I just started Basket Case. And
the reaction?
Well, the whole place went super, super silent. And I could tell because there's a part in the beginning of the song where it like stops, and it's just guitar by itself. Yeah. But then the guitar stops, and then the bass plays something, I think. So like I didn't do anything. You stopped for like a couple seconds, and I could hear you could hear a pin drop. So I'm like, is this really happening? That's okay. So I went into it. I finished the song, and I'm not kidding, because I'll never forget this. Like the entire school, at least what I remember, the entire school, that entire auditorium leapt to their feet. And they're all and screaming and cheering and like clapping like it was a real concert. Like I was awestruck because I do this and it's cool and it's second nature to me because I play the cello and I sing, and I'm able to transpose songs that normally are on guitar onto the cello like with no problem. So I guess that looked impressive to them, and so, but I felt like a rock star. I remember that day. I thought, man, I want to be a rock star. That's all I think. I mean, granted, that's everyone that plays music wants to be a rock star. That's not easily attainable, in the sense of playing arenas and stuff. But that day I was like, this is my passion. I want to do this for the rest of my life. It was incredible. There were probably a good 2,000 people in that auditorium, and they leapt to their feet. I kid you not. So that was beautiful. Another time I'm sure we all remember the old Croc Rock. They knocked it down now. Rest in peace, Croc Rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, Crocodile Rock. My band opened for like some old punk bands. That was pretty fun in like 2007, and I remember when we started playing. Now I didn't play the cello in that band. I was just playing guitar, and it was the same thing. Just a rock band, nothing special about it. But I was playing and singing, and we caught I knew I had the whole place watching because people weren't like on their phones. Well, there weren't smartphones at that point really yet, but people still had phones. But they weren't they were paying attention. People at the bar were paying attention. You could see when someone was watching it. Again, like at that Halloween party. People are like, oh, yeah, we're playing for ourselves, dude. And I played plenty. The majority of the shows that I played with my rock bands were like that. There's a handful of performances, and even the bouncers were like, I could tell the bouncers were into it. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing, man. And then we'd finish songs, and the whole place would cheer. Nothing has ever topped that performance in high school when I did that. But it was pretty similar, man. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Nothing hits you when you know you're appreciated as a performer.
Yeah, especially in the situation where you talked about, because you were unsure of yourself at first about what was going to happen, and you just kept going through it. You're just like, screw it, I'm going to play the whole thing, and then it happened. That was great. It sounds like a great story.
It was amazing, man. It's such an experience to connect and engage an audience. You get a spiritual and emotional connection with your audience. Yeah. If it happens correctly.
Yeah. Well, this will be our last question, but it's a little dark. But I want to ask you anyways. What would happen to you if you couldn't write or play music anymore?
So that means I can't sing, and I can't move my fingers to play the cello or the guitar.
You can't. Well, it means that, I guess what I'm trying to say, if the ability to play music and write music was taken away from you completely.
There's no more music. Oh boy. Well, I would beg God to just give me the grace and the strength to replace that with whatever He has in mind for me. I'd have nowhere else to turn at that point other than to God. And I turn to God often for things in my life right now anyway, so I'd like to believe that I would hope and pray that would never happen to me.
Yeah.
But if it did, I would have to beg God for, I wouldn't beg him for an answer, but I would beg him for grace, strength, and faith that everything would still be okay.
Yeah.
But that would be absolutely tragic
Yeah.
and horrible.
It's a very
I couldn't
dark.
play music. It's so funny you asked me
Yeah.
that, actually, because one of my ex-girlfriends a couple of years ago, I was like, man, I'm so happy I'm able to play music and write music and stuff. And she's like, yeah, well, you should think about what would happen if you ever lost that. And I thought, well, why would I ever lose that? How would that happen? Would I get my fingers crushed somewhere? God forbid. But yeah, that's weird. That's funny you asked that. I don't think we think about things like that very often.
Like Laura used to work with people that had traumatic brain injuries, and there was a man that built violins. What are they? String.
Some string
Some string,
instruments.
cello,
I want to say
violins.
I want to say dulcimers.
Oh.
And he was
Okay.
like a really well renowned
Yeah.
maker of dulcimers, and he would constantly like talk about that and how much he missed it.
Oh, you couldn't do it anymore.
No.
He had a
because of
traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
Something happened to his head, and his brain got injured, so he was
Wow.
not able to do it anymore. But I guess Laura knows the story.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I can never.
That's
I mean, if
sad.
that happened
Yeah.
to me, like I really like. I was telling Laura that if somebody took my passion away, which is music and doing the outlet and
And
You know, and-
producing,
Yeah.
doing productions and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, like all this stuff, like sound. I love doing live sound. I love doing sound reinforcement. And if somebody took that away from me, I don't know what I would do. I
I know,
really
man.
don't know what I would do.
A lot of us don't have plan
Yeah.
Bs for our passions.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny. I talk to other musicians. Some musicians are like triple, quadruple threats. They can draw, they can write music, they can act. I mean, I can act a little bit, and I actually used to tap dance, which is pretty fun. But I
Nice.
cannot draw to save my life. I can't make
Can't
sculptures. I can barely even do stage. It's so weird. My eyes and my brain don't add up, but my ears and my brain do go, and that's weird. So I only have the music part of the art form, but it's funny how we have things. We do and then we don't have certain things. So I'd have to find something, man. That would be rough.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to end with such a dark question.
Thanks, Andy.
I don't like small talk, so I like questions that have substance like that. That's cool, man.
All right. Well, like I said, that was the last question, and I just wanted to say that this is cellist and singer Brian Kidd, and he'll be playing Animeus Winter. I'm sorry.
Snow Blast.
Snow Blast Festival event. I'm sorry, at King Coffee on February 2nd, and the show starts at 8. So we have 4 bands lined up, and it's going to be a great show. And just like you were talking about the fun house, how tiny it was, King Coffee's pretty small, and we actually have
King Coffee.
we have
well.
Absolutely.
we actually have like a band from Philadelphia coming in. And I think there's like how many people in the band, like 5 or 6 or something.
Probably.
It's just crazy amount of equipment.
Well, it's funny. Actually, and that reminds me. I should give a shout out to Jason, the owner, Jason George, the owner of the coffee shop.
Yeah, Jason.
He used to let my old rock band practice. We used to practice there on Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if you knew about that or
No,
but
no.
that was like 3 years ago. Yeah, he'd leave us a pot of coffee and stuff, and like
Wow.
yeah, those
I should
were
have made
interesting,
coffee.
fun mornings.
Yeah. He's so supportive
Yeah.
Yeah,
of the
we
arts.
love him, man.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
We do
he's-
love him.
One
I
of the
was just-
questions I go to him, and
I was just
Sure.
Yeah.
saying to Andy today, like I was kind of in a foul mood, but when we went to King Coffee this morning, to see Jason, somehow it's like that foul mood just gets lifted when you just interact
Well, yeah,
and talk to
because
him.
he's funny and quirky and he's
Yeah.
smart, so you can have great, substantial conversation with him. But then you can like the way we can talk to him. It's like it's small talk, but we're talking about like philosophy or history or something.
yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
So shout out to Jason, we love him.
We
yeah,
love
we're
Jason. So,
excited for the snow blast coming up.
Yes.
very excited. It's a great thing that we're all going to be part of the Snow Blast.
Yes,
I mean,
and we definitely appreciate you being
Yeah.
part of the
Well, I'm
program.
happy to be part of it. Thanks, guys.
So-
Thanks for
So-
inviting me.
Definitely.
thanks for playing. This is going to be just great. So, all right. Well, thanks again for coming to the interview and doing the songs, and we'll see you on the 2nd. All right, take
Sounds
care.
good.
All right. Bye.
Thanks.